Welcome to another video on the Linux for Hackers series, and today we are going to do a bit of system administrations whereby we'll be looking at commands that can be used to manage services and processes on your systems. We're also going to look at commands that will help you to monitor those services and processes so that you can be able to know what is running on your system. So let's get started. First command that I want us to look at when it comes to processes is the ps command. Okay, so on your terminal, when you type ps, it's going to give you a list of processes that are running on your system, and here you can see we have something called the PID. So the PID is the process ID, is the number that is given to that particular process. Here you can see we have the CMD, which is the command that has been executed, or the program that is running that particular process. But for this, we are limited with the information that we have. So if you want to get a more detailed information, you can say ps, AUX, and with that you should be able to get a list of the processes that are running on your system. And you can see it's so the above command is going to show every running process, the user that is running that particular process, and how much CPU and memory that process is using on your system. So I'm going to open my Firefox browser because I want to show you how to filter for a particular process using the name of that software. Okay, so I'll just go back PSFU. I'll pull back the processes that are running on our system, and down here you can see we have Firefox ESR. That is the name of the program for the Firefox web browser. So I'm going to copy that name. What I want to do, I want to filter for processes that are running under the Firefox browser. And with that, I can just say PSAUX, then I'm going to use the grep tool. I covered this in the data processing video, so make sure to check it out to understand what grep is. Then I'm going to filter for that particular name. And with that, you can see I get results of the processes that are running under the Firefox browser. So let's jump to how to monitor these processes. There are various tools that you can use to monitor these processes. The first tool is called top. And with the top, you can see I get a table of the processes that are running on my system. So the top command will show the running processes in real time and updates in every second. As you can see, we have some movements after every second because we have multiple processes that are running on our system. But if you want a more user-friendly version of top, we can use a similar tool called htop. And htop, you can see it has a very nice user interface compared to htop, and it also gives you results in real time. And another cool feature about htop is that you can scroll through the processes that are running on your system. How do you terminate a process, or how do you stop a process from running? So here I have the mousepad program running. So if I say PSAUX, you can see here is the mousepad process that is running, and I can be able to see that the Kali user is the one who started this particular program. And we have the process ID, which I'm going to copy because I want to stop this process from running. So let me minimize my screen and I'll put this mousepad program here so that I can show you how to terminate it. We can use a command called kill. Then you're going to paste the process ID. So if I press enter, it's going to close that mousepad program. So what if you have a program such as the Firefox running, and it has, you can see we have Firefox running and it has multiple processes. So if I come here, you can see all these processes are related to the Firefox browser. So what if you want to kill all those processes? Okay, so we can use a command called kill all, and instead of giving the process ID, because we have multiple processes running at the same time, you can give the name of that program. For our case is Firefox ESR. So if I say enter, you can see it's going to terminate all the processes that are related to the Firefox browser. Now let's talk about services. So a service is a program that runs in the background of your system. For example, like the SSH service, Bluetooth service, and things like the web service. Okay, So we have a command called the systemctl, which is used to control and manage these particular services on your system. So for example, let's say I want to check the status of my SSH service. So I'm going to say system control or systemctl. Then I'm going to say that I want to check status for SSH service. And with that, you can see my SSH service is disabled. So if I want to enable it, I'm just going to say system control, then enable SSH. And with that, I'm going to be required to put my password because it's an administrative task. And with that, you can see it's telling me permission denied despite me providing the password. So if you want to enable a service that has been disabled, you can use the sudo, okay, then systemctl enable SSH. Okay, then my password. And with that, if I go back and check the status, you can see now SSH has been enabled, but it's not active. Okay, so maybe I can say sudo systemctl start. Okay, so I'm going to start that service. And with that, now we should have the SSH service active and running. And if you want to stop it, you can just say sudo systemctl stop SSH service, and if we check the status, you can see right now is inactive. Okay, so that's how you stop it. Sometimes you might find that a service is running, but it's not running the way that you want it to run. So what you can do, you can restart that particular service. So you can say sudo system control restart SSH, and it's going to restart that SSH service. So if I check the status, you can see now our SSH service, which we stopped earlier, is now active and running. You can also disable a service that is not being used in your system. So it's very advisable for system administrators to disable services that are not being used or that are not required. So SSH is required, but for this practical, I'm going to show you how to disable it. So you type sudo system control disable SSH, then enter, and with that, it's going to disable the SSH service, although it's active and running, but we have disabled that particular service. So it's not going to be used by users who try to access. Users who are trying to access the SSH service won't be able to use it, although it's active and running, but it has been disabled by the system administrator. What if you want to monitor logs of a particular service, for example, the SSH service? We have a command called journalctl, which is used to show logs that are related to a particular service. So this command is going to show me the logs that are related to the SSH service. So if I say enter, you can see these are the logs of that particular SSH service. These commands help system administrators and cybersecurity professionals to monitor and control their Linux system. So that's it for this video. If you have any question related to those commands, you can post them in the comment section. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.